Okay guys, I'm going to show you how I make one of my green smoothies. Now, I love spinach, so I usually make my smoothies with spinach, but today I decided to do it with Swiss chard. Swiss chard is actually in the spinach and beets family. When it's cooked, it normally has like a bitter taste to it, but fresh as leaves, it's very mild. I washed the lettuce so it's like wet, and I loosely dried it with this paper towel, so to try to get some of the excess water off of it. I usually soak all my vegetables in vinegar to just kind of help make sure you get all that waxy stuff off of it. But these I bought from the farmer's market, and they were organic, and I didn't feel like I needed to soak them in vinegar. I probably still could have, but I didn't. So what I'm going to do is give this a rough chop. So as you can see, I gave it a rough chop, very rough. I just sliced it in threes because it's going to go into the blender. So the blender is going to do the work. Here are my ends for my Swiss chards. They're really pretty. I did not want to put these in my smoothie because of the texture, and I wasn't sure how long it was going to take for them to actually break down. So I'm actually starting my own garden. So I'm going to actually put this in my bag for my compost pile, which I don't have to do that because you can actually cook these or eat these raw, just chop them up finely. But again, that's not my foray. So I'm just going to go ahead and stick them in my compost pile. Now, this is way too much for just one smoothie, but I'm also making a salad for lunch, so I'm going to just take half of this, and I'm going to stuff it into my NutriBullet container. So, however much can fit. I usually like to stuff mine all the way up to the top because what I've learned is that whenever you blend up the smoothies, oh, they got a little brown piece right there, take that off. Whenever you blend up the smoothies, everything pretty much kind of cooks down a little bit, you know? So I usually fill it all the way up with the greens. And then I'm going to add some spring water so I can blend it well. Okay, whenever I add spring water, I only fill it up because I know you can see right here they have a line that says max line. Well, I don't know if you can see it. There it is right there, max line. Don't ever fill the water up that high because once you add the smoothie ingredients, it's going to overflow. Trust me, I know. I did that on accident. I usually try to go about half of that. So let's see. So the water is like right down there. I'm gonna add just a little tad bit more because I like my smoothies to be creamy, but I don't like them to be too thick because to me that's not as palatable. So, and that's my preference. So I have about this much water down here where my thumb is. If you can't see, excuse my nails. I haven't had a chance to take the polish off yet, but right there. Okay, the next thing that I do is I add flax seeds to mine. So I always add 1 scoop of flax seeds, and I believe this is a tablespoon. This is my little measuring cup. Yep, 1 tablespoon of flax seeds. I usually just leave this in the flax seeds because I literally put this in all of my smoothies. Okay, so that's my 1 scoop of flax seeds. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put my lid on here, and then I'm going to go ahead and blend this up. So I'm going to use 1 apple. It's already clean. I soaked it in vinegar. I'm going to actually not even use the whole apple. And as you can see, I just turned off my smoothie mix. I usually like to blend it until I don't see any big pieces of spinach in it. But you don't have to over blend it because remember you're going to add the fruits and the vegetables and everything else that you want in it. So I'm going to cut this apple, just half of it, and dice it into pieces. Which, I mean, I just do that because I don't like to wait for the blender. Okay, so that's about how small that I cut up the apple chunks. And the rest I'm going to probably just put into my salad. See, I already added the Swiss chard leaves to my salad bowl. I don't really tend to measure the fruit that I put in my smoothie, but I would say this is about a handful and of pineapples. Nope, chuck that on the counter, put that in there too. The counter's clean, so I could do that, but right there, stuff that down. And then I have some mango chunks. So that's again about a handful, a smaller handful. And I just stick that in there as well, push it down. These little pieces of mango. Now at this time I would usually add like strawberries because I love strawberries. They're really sweet. But I don't have any. So this is like something from the kitchen sink. Actually, you know what? I have some mixed strawberries with like other berries, or I could use something else. Oh, my favorite thing to put in a smoothie with pineapples and mangoes is a banana. Plus, the bananas adds sweetness. I'm gonna grab a banana. So I went on ahead and peeled the banana. It smells really strong, so that means that this is going to be really sweet. So I'm not going to put any sugar in the smoothie. I don't actually use sugar. I use stevia as my form of sweetener. So if you like yours to be a little bit on the sweeter side, because you never know with pineapples and mangoes how sweet they're going to be, you can add in a pack of stevia if you like. And then I have a lemon right here, which I'm going to cut it and then squeeze just a little bit of lemon juice in there. I think it adds like a really nice brightness to the flavor. So here's my lemon. I scooped out some of the seeds because I don't want to be choking on seeds, which to be honest, my NutriBullet is pretty strong, so it probably would just like blend up the seeds. I missed one, so I had to pull that one out. Okay, so and I'm just gonna squeeze this right on top. See, that was a lot of juice that came out of this lemon. Sometimes what I do when my lemons are hard and they're not like ready to be like squeezed out is I roll them on a counter to make them soft. You probably already knew that, but that's just something that I learned from my mom when I was younger about lemons. So kind of get like some of the meat in there. See, I did a pretty good job of like squeezing up this one. I do I do not like to overblend my smoothies because I like my smoothies to be cold. So, and this one does have the frozen fruit, so that does aid in making the smoothie overall cold. So I'm going to open it up and show you what it looks like. And that's what my smoothie looks like. It's the blade, so you can see it's pretty smooth texture, and sure it tastes delicious.